Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 119 based on novel. So let's start. Is this Luo his true strength? Emperor Fu observed Luo Feng curiously. It was the first time he saw Luo Feng in black robe and golden mask. As the most powerful existence in the entire origin continent who could deduce the secrets of heaven, he could collect a huge amount of information by seeing it with his own eyes once. Emperor Fu uses formations to refine his body. His body is a huge movable formation. Wherever he goes, the endless vast area is naturally the influence of his formation, which can collect a lot of subtle information. Wherever Luo he goes, the void is under pressure. His vitality is stronger than mine and Emperor Yang's. Emperor Fu made a judgment instantly. Any life, including a grain of sand or a particle, will be under pressure as a carrier of the void. It's just that the pressure may be strong or weak. The strength of life includes both body and soul. In the perception of Emperor Fu's formation, Luo Feng seemed like an extremely terrifying celestial body affecting the void. The influence on the void is much greater than that of Emperor Fu and Emperor Yang. In terms of life force, among the 12 emperors, only Emperor Ming is as good as him. Emperor Fu was sure of this. Of course, he instinctively excluded Emperor Qing. Emperor Qing had already surpassed the ultimate realm, and his clones had gone out to explore the outside world. Emperor Ming's willpower surpassed the God King level. He cultivated the origin of matter, and he explored the chaotic bloodline to a very high degree. His body was also the most powerful among the 12 emperors. In the emperor's opinion, more than half of the 12 emperors would be completely killed if they faced the Emperor Ming one-on-one. At this moment, in the perception of the Emperor Fu, the life strength of the black-robed golden-faced warrior is about 70% of that of the Emperor Ming, completely surpassing the other 11 emperors. The emperor is observing the black robe? Emperor Yang couldn't tell whether Luo Feng was real or fake, but he was very familiar with the emperor. He could tell at a glance that the emperor was observing carefully. Did I guess wrong? The emperor is not familiar with the black robe? Luo Feng came over at this moment and said with a smile, I am really honored to meet two emperors. One is the current ruler of the Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom, and the other is the first emperor. This is also the first time we meet Brother Black Robe. Emperor Yang also said with a smile. It's the first time I meet Brother Black Robe. He is indeed extraordinary. The Emperor Fu also praised him. The atmosphere between the two sides was very good. Luo Feng said, I brought the 1,000 Dream Fruit, and the Ultimate Realm Chaotic Origin Bloodline Creature materials. Did you bring them? Of course I brought it. Emperor Fu said. This time, the emperor has gone against the majority's opinion and wants to exchange 50% of the corpse material for this fruit. Emperor Yang said, also paying attention to the changes in the expressions and auras of the emperor and Luo He. The Emperor Fu glanced at Emperor Yang before saying, it is indeed me who is in charge. According to the opinions of the other emperors, 20% to 30% of the materials will be enough. 2 or 3% of the materials cannot be exchanged for my 1,000 Dream Fruit. Luo Feng said with a smile, the price offered by the 3 foreign races is enough to match 40% of the corpse materials. Let's test the treasure. The emperor waved his hand and a black space bag appeared. When the bag opened, inside was a huge corpse material of a creature with the ultimate chaotic origin bloodline. Luo Feng also took out the treasure box and opened it. Inside the treasure box was the 1,000 Dream Fruit. Both parties inspect the goods at the same time. Luo Feng sent a trace of his consciousness into the space bag and took a closer look. The material of the corpse of a creature with the ultimate realm of chaotic origin bloodline, even if it is a small amount of corpse, when the mind is peeping, it will sense the complete appearance of the creature. It is easy to infer that the corpse material accounts for approximately a few % of the complete body. These materials do come from 3 creatures, and they are all cultivated locally on the origin continent. Luo Feng made a judgment, about 50% of them are corpse materials. It is indeed the 1,000 Dream Fruit. Emperor Fu also confirmed it. No problem, let's do the deal. Emperor Fu said as he waved his hand, and the space bag flew towards Luo Feng. As soon as Luo Feng thought about it, the treasure box also flew towards the Emperor Fu. Both sides were very alert, fearing a robbery. If Luo Feng robbed, the Emperor Fu would have to summon several prepared emperors according to the rules, and the emperors would cooperate with the emperor's formation to besiege Luo Feng together. Luo Feng was also ready to mobilize the secret treasure star tower in his body. Once he started, he would immediately imprison Emperor Fu and Emperor Yang in front of him into the star tower. Whoosh! Whoosh! The treasures flew to each other without any setbacks. Very good. Luo Feng reached out and picked up the space bag. If there are 4 great treasures, our flame-wind ancient kingdom is always happy to purchase them. The emperor also put away the treasure box. The deal was successful and both parties breathed a sigh of relief. Ha ha, it's the same old rule. If there's a treasure, I usually negotiate with the 5 parties, and the one with the highest bid wins. Luo Feng was in a good mood. Then I'll go first. Brother in black robe, I would like to ask you one more question. Why did you kill the 3 kings of the Food Kingdom? Emperor Yang suddenly asked. Luo Feng glanced at him and said with a half-smile, "Kill me if you want to. Do you need a reason?" After saying that, Luo Feng took a step forward, and with a flash of black light, he disappeared. This man in black robe has a bad temper. Emperor Yang said. With great strength, of course, a bad temper. Emperor Fu said, "Let's go." Emperor Fu left after saying this. He needed to deliver the 1,000 dream fruit to the tribe's treasury. Only if the ancestor agreed to his application could he take the 1,000 dream fruit. Emperor Yang stood there with a slight frown. It feels like they don't know each other very well. Emperor Yang was a little confused, and this man in black robe doesn't care about me at all. Emperor Yang could tell the arrogance in the words. Interesting? Emperor Yang smiled, "Since you have shown up, I will eventually find out your identity." Then he disappeared without a trace and returned to his Yang City. Huyang City, the quiet room of the city lord's mansion, one of the floors of the Star Tower. Luo Feng also took out the corpse materials from the space bag. The huge corpse materials from the 3 ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline creatures were scattered in this layer of space, piled up like a series of mountains. The huge silver-white unicorn was tens of trillions of kilometers long. They are all cultivated locally on the origin continent. Luo Feng was very satisfied. When he inspected the goods before, his invisible and formless ability determined the moment he saw them. As long as the internal structure is studied thoroughly, it can be changed. These chaotic origin bloodline creatures have ordinary intelligence and very low realms, but they can all exert the strength of the ultimate realm. Their bodies are really terrifying. Luo Feng's eyes were burning. Roar tilde tilde tilde. Hiss tilde tilde tilde. 3 huge shadows condensed above these corpse materials. This is the will of blood. It is the remaining will of the chaotic origin life form, the source of the bloodline of 3 creatures. One looks like a creature with 8 hooves, one looks like a snake, and one looks like a hairy creature. Luo Feng doesn't care about these remaining wills. Just in terms of its body, it's even more terrifying than the ultimate life form I cultivated. Luo Feng stood in front of a huge snake body which was more than 100 trillion kilometers long. Luo Feng observed it carefully. It has the 24 phases, 10,000 phase, and 3 world phase. Luo Feng was amazed. From what I can see, there are 7 phases. Just like Luo Feng looking at a complete Great Tao. Looking at it from different angles will give you different views. Therefore, if one completely comprehends a complete Great Tao, the ultimate life form that is cultivated has the hope of possessing multiple phases. The more phases one possesses, the more terrifying the physical body will be. For example, the 24 phases is just one of the phases of the complete Great Tao of the origin of life. Those chaotic origin bloodline creatures who are at the 2nd level of God King strength are already the best if they can possess the 20 phases form. It is impossible to find one that has 2 phases at the same time. However, these ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline creatures generally possess multiple phases. This multi-hoofed, One horned creature, I can see it has 6 phases. I can see that this furry creature possesses all 10 phases. Luo Feng was amazed. This creature should be able to easily travel through different timelines. It can be big or small, and it can even swallow up the world. Generally speaking, the more aspects one possesses, the stronger the body will be. This multiclawed, unicorn-shaped creature is a little easier to cultivate. Luo Feng thought, but I only know 24 phases form now, and I still need to comprehend the other 5 forms. Each form is a phase. One must fully comprehend all the compositions of the 6 phases and use the invisible and formless to transform into the body of a multi-hoofed, unicorn-horned creature. Snake-like creatures and furry creatures are even more difficult. Luo Feng observed the materials of the 3 organisms, 6 phases, 7 phases, and 10 phases, some of which overlapped. Overall, these materials could reveal a total of 15 phases. Seeing the real material with your own eyes is different from comprehending the Great Tao. With the real object in hand, Luo Feng felt that he only had detailed guidance when studying it, and the difficulty was much lower. In the past, Luo Feng sketched countless secret patterns out of thin air and deduced other forms. Oh, right, Morosa. Luo Feng then remembered that one of the main reasons for purchasing these materials was for Morosa's growth. Whoosh! Luo Feng immediately took some of the fragments of these quartz materials aside and took away about 1%. Morosa. Luo Feng sent a telepathic message, and soon Morosa arrived and was summoned into the Star Tower. Master, what's wrong? Morosa's eyes widened when he saw the huge pile of quartz materials like a continuous mountain range. The smell of these quartz materials is extremely strong. What is this? Morosa couldn't believe it. The best food he had ever eaten was only the partial corpses of chaotic origin bloodline at the 2nd level God King, which was far inferior to what was before his eyes. Master, these prepared for me? Morosa looked at his master excitedly. Luo Feng looked at him with a smile and nodded, of course. Great, Master, you are so great. Morosa was extremely excited. At this moment, he felt that the realm in his body had an instinctive desire to devour the food. He had a feeling in his heart. The food before him is enough to push him to the ultimate of life and make him a true ultimate beast. In order to get these foods, I spent a lot of money. Luo Feng sighed. It is indeed not easy to cultivate world beasts. A small amount of fragmented corpses of creatures with the chaotic origin bloodline of the 2nd level of the God King could be purchased, but complete corpses? The 2 ancient countries would not sell them. A better creature corpse? Only the 4 great treasures are eligible for exchange. Even the most inconspicuous of the 4 treasures, the special treasure worth more than 1 billion merits, has many emperor-level beings eyeing it. He had defeated the others and blocked the native creatures of the dream realm before he successfully obtained the 1000 dream fruit. Without strength, you can never get such a treasure. Without the strength, I'm afraid that the business with the 2 ancient kingdoms will be robbed as soon as it starts. Master, the price you paid is worth it. Morosa said excitedly, I am absolutely sure that these foods will be enough for me to reach the ultimate realm. Then I will be able to help you, Master. You have to save these foods. Luo Feng advised, if you eat 70% to 80% of them, you can reach the ultimate realm. The rest must be returned to me. I still have some use for them. Don't worry, I won't need them when I reach the ultimate level. Morosa said, hurry up and send me to the retreat space, I can't wait. He dreams of reaching the ultimate level. Ha ha, go quickly. Luo Feng smiled and waved his hand, moving the quartz materials and Morosa that were piled up like a mountain range to another level of space. In a blink of an eye, Morosa had been in seclusion for half an epoch. Morosa's transformation took a long time. Luo Feng was sitting on the pavilion of the city lord's mansion. He could sense the condition of Morosa in the Star Tower with just a thought. Morosa had eaten about 2/3 of the quartz materials he gave him, and did not eat the rest. At this moment, Morosa was sleeping, and his aura was changing very slowly. His aura is already stronger than that of Emperor Guoshu and Wuxin God King, and he is still transforming. Luo Feng smiled. I believe that if the transformation is successful, he will reach the ultimate realm. The ultimate state. In this era, only Emperor Qing and the Lord 10,000 Realms have realized a complete Great Tao on their own. The emperors and monarchs, with their many powerful secret treasures, were able to exert strength comparable to that of the ultimate realm. However, in terms of means and tricks, they were naturally inferior to those true ultimate realms. Although the world beasts have reached the ultimate realm through eating and drinking, it is also the real ultimate realm, so their moves are naturally extremely exquisite. Wait until Morosa breaks through and reaches the ultimate realm. Then I can do many things I want to do. Luo Feng held the wine glass and looked at the snowflakes fluttering in Huyang City. He is still relatively forbearing in his actions now, because his every move cannot be completely concealed. The various detection methods of the two ancient kingdoms, whether from the perspective of time and space or from the perspective of karma, can find many traces. Once Morosa masters the complete Great Tao, he will be free from the influence of karma. The Great Tao will be perfect and leave no trace. Luo Feng knew this. The complete Great Tao has many powerful aspects. The Great Tao is perfect, and when it is in operation it can weaken all attacks, even Luo Feng's spiritual attacks will be weakened. As the realm becomes higher, the seemingly mysterious, spiritual attack is no longer mysterious. Mastering the complete Great Tao can resist and weaken it to a certain extent. If you surpass the God King level, the means of resistance will be stronger. Even the surpassing God King level weapons they refine have the effect of weakening will attacks. After all, will attack is just a branch of the soul path. If it is a complete soul method, it will penetrate and attack from different directions, which is naturally much more terrifying. Pure will attack has a great advantage in the origin continent. After all, there are only a handful of people who have mastered the complete Great Tao here. But in the future, if they leave the origin continent and encounter similar opponents like the three major foreign races, the ancestors of the two kingdoms, etc., the help of willpower will become weaker, and even Luo Feng's spiritual will may not be as strong as that of the opponent. I have been practicing for too short a time, and I am only at the second level of the God King realm. Take your time, there is no rush. Luo Feng has a clear plan for his own path of practice. During the stage of the origin continent, he has two goals in practice. The first is to reach the ultimate realm. The second is to have enough patience to comprehend the high-level secrets at a low level, and would rather practice slowly in order to hone one's own understanding. Master. A figure walked out from the wind and snow, came to the bottom of the pavilion, and saluted respectfully. It was Luo Feng's second disciple, Shinu. Come up. Luo Feng put down his wine glass and looked at his disciple with a smile. Among the disciples of Blade River sect, Shinu is the most talented. He has made rapid progress and is now at the peak Chaos realm. He has no intention of managing the trivial matters of the sect and is only focused on cultivation. Shinu, dressed in green, saluted respectfully. Master, I have cultivated both the sky-splitting branch and the Chaos Sky branch to bottlenecks, but I cannot take the last step to truly master the Great Tao branch. Shinu, it has only been more than 200 epochs since you entered the Chaos realm. It is already very good to be able to reach the peak of the Chaos realm. Luo Feng looked at his disciple, but you should know that the first-class lords of the royal families of the two ancient kingdoms can reach the peak of the Chaos realm in 100 epochs with sufficient resources. Disciple knows my talent, which is nothing in the entire origin continent. Shinu looked at Luo Feng with fiery eyes. Master has only been in the Chaos realm for a few epochs, and he has already transcended the Chaos realm. Ha ha, Luo Feng laughed. Indeed, he had only been in the Chaos realm for a short time, and with his perfect divine body and invisible and formless transformation method, he possessed the Chaos realm's transcendent strength. At that time, the outside world suspected that Luo Feng was the reincarnation of a certain God King. I want to tell you that even if the first-class lords of the ancient royal family reached the peak of the Chaos realm early, many of them were stuck at the bottleneck for their entire lives and could not become God Kings. Luo Feng looked at his disciples. Being stuck at a bottleneck for life? Shinu's heart tightened. Practicing in the Chaos realm is just about comprehending the branches of the Great Tao and accumulating them slowly. But to comprehend the branches of the great Tao, one needs sudden enlightenment, Luo Hao said. Enlightenment? Shinu wondered. Enlightenment cannot be forced. Luo Hao said, the key is to accumulate knowledge and then release it. What you need to do now is not to comprehend the branches of the great Tao. Instead, you should comprehend the secrets of the God-King level. If you comprehend one secret, you can be considered to have transcended the chaos realm. If you comprehend 2 or 3 secrets, the more secrets you comprehend, the closer you are to the great Tao. One day, I will naturally understand the branches of the great Tao. Luo Hao said. The more you comprehend the God-King level secrets, the closer you are to the great Tao. Shinu asked, Master, generally speaking, how many God-King level secrets do you need to comprehend to become a God-King? That's wrong. Luo Hao shook his head. The more you desire to comprehend the great Tao, the further you will be from it. Don't pursue the branches of the great Tao. Instead, concentrate on comprehending the secrets and slowly accumulate them. Then you will naturally break through. Only when you have enough accumulation in each realm can you go further on the path of becoming a God-King. Luo Hao looked at his apprentice. Focusing on comprehending the secret method, and not pursuing the branches of the great Tao. Disciple understands. Shinu bowed respectfully, Disciple, I'll take my leave. Luo Hao nodded. Luo Hao knew very well that if he concentrated on comprehending the secret method of the God-King level without seeking the branches of the great Tao, this method would have a very high threshold for cultivation. For those with average comprehension, it would be good enough if they could comprehend one secret method of the God-King level in their lifetime. As my disciple, you should have bigger goals. Otherwise, what's the point of being an ordinary God-King your whole life? Luo Hao naturally had expectations for his second disciple Shinu. In the origin continent, there is a secret world called Mother River World. This is the core of the resistance forces of the ancient Flame Wind Kingdom. This black-robed golden-faced warrior is extremely powerful. His body is no less powerful than that of an ultimate realm life form, and his spiritual will are even beyond the God-King level. God-King Zhongfu shook his head slightly. His body and soul are both so powerful that even that purple-robed woman was defeated by him. With such terrifying power, how could he be so indifferent to the world? The towering God King Yufu said, the most powerful beings on the origin continent, including the heavenly wood world beast and the lord of the 10,000 worlds, are secretly fighting for resources. Doesn't this man in black robe care about resources? The 2 top existences in the origin continent who are not interested in competing with the world are the Queen of Wind City and the Flame Ancestor, said the God King Zhongfu. The Queen of Wind City has the East Territory Ancestor behind her, so she naturally doesn't need to compete with him. As for the Fire Ancestor, I heard that the Flame Ancestor had met Yuan and received Yuan's guidance, so he no longer needs to compete and can focus on cultivation. Why don't you fight for this black robe? The God King Zhongfu was somewhat confused. He only appeared once in the Dream Realm, and has never been seen in other treasure lands. With so many resources, he just watched them go to waste? With his strength, he can definitely take a lot. After being suppressed by the 2 ancient nations for such a long time, once one reaches the power of an emperor or monarch, they generally cannot help but fight for it. God King Yufu sighed. The origin world of the origin continent is gradually entering its final days, and anyone with a little ambition will fight for it. I thought that with one more helper, we could join forces and snatch more from the 2 ancient kingdoms. The God King Zhongfu shook his head. Who would have thought that after leaving the Dream Realm, I would never see him again? The God King Zhongfu led the entire Mother River force and naturally participated in the competition for many precious lands. He also longed to obtain more precious resources and wanted to gather a complete Han Yuan bloodline. The warrior in black robe seems to be a leisurely practitioner, and the God King Zhongfu is very welcome to him. But it seems that the strong man in black robe is too low-key and doesn't care much about the precious resources everywhere. God King Zhongfu and God King Yufu had no idea that Luo Hao had only been a God King for over 300 epochs. The so-called end of the origin continent lasted for billions of epochs, and Luo Hao had no sense of urgency at all. Huyang City, the quiet room of the City Lord's mansion, inside the Star Tower. Luo Feng has been studying the newly acquired corpse materials of the Ultimate Realm Chaotic Origin bloodline creatures. These corpse materials can reveal 15 ultimate level life forms, and the so-called 24 phases form is also one of them. The 3 Ultimate Realm Chaotic Origin bloodline creatures all have multiple basic life forms. The 6 phases are 6 life forms in one. How magical! The physical material inherited through blood is also very magical, but Luo Feng has not accumulated much in the Great Tao of the origin of matter, so he does not understand it. Seeing these materials in person has greatly improved my understanding of life forms. Luo Feng also used his spiritual consciousness to penetrate the Star Tower and observe the vast and endless secret patterns. The secret pattern of the Star Tower. The most numerous ones include secret patterns of different types of life, accounting for about 1/3, and are also the absolute core. These secret life patterns can form a whole in various forms. Luo Feng discovered that some of the shallow secret life patterns in the Star Tower were similar to the 15 life forms, allowing Luo Feng to quickly sort them out. As Luo Feng's research deepened, the source of countless secret patterns, the 12-color blood-red scales, became increasingly terrifying. Luo Feng was in a trance. This piece of blood-red scales emitted a terrifying blood-red light, which was much more terrifying and evil, as if endless blood was covering it and was about to completely drown Luo Feng's mind. Even with Luo Feng's spiritual will, he couldn't help but tremble and immediately stopped watching. What's going on? Luo Feng sat cross-legged in the Star Tower. As my research deepens, this blood-red scale becomes even more terrifying. Luo Feng calmed down and then smiled excitedly. Then let's face it. Face it and study it. Incorporate all factors that cause terror into the creation of secret techniques. This was Luo Feng's response when he first came into contact with the giant eye in his dream. Luo Feng immersed himself in cultivation again. He had been trying to interpret the blood-red scales by using the 9 branches of birth and death. This time, Luo Feng felt that he had a deeper understanding of the blood-red scales, and that he might gain something from the creation of the secret method. All the forces on the Origin continent have been paying close attention to the next move of the black robe and gold-faced strongman since he made his move in the dream realm. But Luo Feng devoted himself to cultivation, and at the same time was also waiting for Morosa's transformation. Unknowingly, half an epoch has passed. It still doesn't work. Inside the Star Tower, Luo Feng shook his head gently. My understanding of the Star Tower is still not deep enough, and I can't create a fusion move of the 9 branches of birth and death. I just barely comprehended the 8-branch fusion technique. This video will end here.